Right, predictions in brief, and this is UFC Ultimate Fight Night 65. Do you know, I've had a brief look at their card, not very interested in it, but there we are. This is a predictions in brief, so it will be brief. Their main event is Stipe Miocic and Mark Hunt. Oh, I ought to add that this particular card is going on Sunday, May the 10th, and it's happening in Australia. We've got the seeded 4th and 5th here, Stipe Miocic and Mark Hunt. Do you know, I kind of hope that Stipe Miocic wins this one, and I think he stands a good chance. His record 12-2, and Mark Hunt is 10-9. Let's have a look. Brad Tavares and Robert Whittaker. We've got 13-4, 14-4. I think that Robert Whittaker will probably win here. He's a New Zealand native. You will see the stars tattooed, in fact, on him in the right correct shape. You might not know if you don't look at the flag, but there we are. Anthony Perosh is fighting Sean O'Connell. 15-8 versus 16-6. This is mainly a stand-up war. However, Anthony Perosh also does quite good on the ground. You might like to know that 0% of his fights have gone to decision. I don't know if that means that he's won or just never lost. But anyway, I'm used to Sherdog, but now I'm sort of just going with the UFC for these, for the predictions in brief anyway. I'm going to go for Anthony Perosh. He's got more ways to win, and he would be the Australian native in that fight. Jake Matthews and James Vick. Perfect 9 for Jake Matthews. Perfect 7 for James Vick. Somebody is going to lose their perfect record here. Do you know, they are both very evenly matched according to this on the ground. But Jake Matthews is also very, very good on his feet. James Vick being the one who, therefore, has decision as his high priority as well. Do you know, I think Jake Matthews will probably win this one. Let's go to the preliminary bouts. We've got Hatsuhoki and Dan Hooker. And there's quite a big discrepancy here. 27-8 for Hatsuhoki. Dan Hooker, who I've not heard of before, I don't think. 12-5. I think that this will be Hatsuhoki, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's submission, although Dan Hooker is, according to this statistically, very well rounded indeed. Kyle Noak is fighting Jonathan Webb. Perfect 8 for Jonathan Webb. Whereas Kyle Noak, 20-7. He is the Australian native, and I think he'll probably win that one. Dan Kelly is fighting Sam Alvey. Perfect 9 for Dan Kelly, the Australian native there. USA is Sam Alvey, and it's 25-6. This one is probably going to be stand-up versus groundsman. Dan Kelly is going to try on the ground because Sam Alvey only has an 8% chance there. Long story short, I suppose I shall take a risk and go for Dan Kelly there. Women's bout. Beck Rawlings and Lisa Ellis both have pictures. Neither seem to be seeded. We've got 15-9 versus 5-4. Both seem to be submission specialists. I'm going to go for Lisa Ellis. Dylan Andrews and Bradley Scott. Oh, Bradley Scott is an Englishman. Really? I don't recall him either. Let's have a look. Bound to be striker versus groundsman here. Dylan Andrews on the feet. Bradley Scott probably on the ground. Took a risk last time, so I'll play safe this one and go for Dylan Andrews. Another women's bout, we've got Alex Chambers and Kaylin Curran, both unseeded, both are photos, I don't know, 4-2 and 3-1. Kaylin Curran, all is 100% decision. So on that basis, I might go for Alex Chambers. Vic Grujic and Brendan O'Reilly, 7-5 and 5-1. I think Brendan O'Reilly might be a debut here, but I don't know. This is two Australians. So going on that, I'll go for Vic Grujic. And lastly, Alptekin Ozkilik and Ben Nguyen. 9-3 is Alptekin Ozkilik with a record of 9-3. I thought it was better than that, but there we are. Ben Nguyen, 13-5, and seems to be better in all respects, but I don't know. I'll go for Alptekin Ozkilik anyway.